Hi guys, thanks for clicking on the video today. You're about to watch another episode of the Elliot Answers Show. So today's question is, any tips on where I can improve? Face, hair, facial hair, etc. Now we can see with this gentleman, if we're looking at the photo on the left, it sits quite long, it's nice and full, there's plenty to be able to play around with. Now, the thing that strikes me is that it's long, but it doesn't look like it's really been cut into a style, or it hasn't been cut into a shape, it's just been let to grow and sit really long, especially when you look at then the photo on the right. I mean, that's very much just been let to go. So there's a lot of room to be able to play around with something through there. I personally, if you've grown it out to that long, I think you want to have it cut into a shape, at least for a little while, to have it with the longer hair. If you put that effort into growing it, I think there's definitely ways of being able to have that look really well on you. My first thing to do would be definitely to take that back up. Now, when we look at the photo on the right, if you look at the profile, then start at the very front, it goes back in a straight line and then drops off at almost a 90-degree angle. So it's very square, very block looking, and obviously you want the squareness for a masculine shape, but with here, it's way too much. So really what we want to be doing, we start by taking that up at the back, so that could sit up a little bit higher and be a bit more in balance with the length you're having through the top. First off, because we can see that then on the photo on the left, actually, it's sort of, the top finishes here and then all of a sudden it drops down. So and then from the side, it drops very much at a dramatic angle. So we bring that up at the back, have that sit, so it sit quite a bit shorter. You take the crown shorter as well, so there's a little bit more roundness, a little bit more shaping through the crown. So that could sit with a bit more fullness, a bit more of a pleasing shape. And then in through the top, I think you could, I can't quite tell for sure, but I would say we could actually leave that, all that length in through there. I'd work with that, so actually that just then sat back quite nicely. By taking the back shorter, it would enable then the top and the sides to be able to sit back, because then it would have space to be able to sit somewhere. Then you'd really texturize that so that it's broken up, you'd have quite a bit of movement in through there, and then with that you would use some sort of lisse styling, so something like a smoothing cream, something that would then a cream-based product which you would work into the hair whilst it was still damp, and then let that either air dry or diffuse dry it, so actually it had that natural movement, natural texture with it, and I think that would work really quite nicely. I think the thing that I would then team that up with then would be to add slightly more facial hair. So we can see at the moment it's very much a blocky chin strap, especially when you look at the photo on the right. When we look at the hair and the beard, both of which are very square, very strong square shape. And I always do lean towards a square shape with the beard, but for me this is a little bit too intense. So I think the length and the sort of the fullness there is great, but then it needs to be built up on the chin. So actually it was a bit more of a beard shape. At the moment with the chin strap, I mean, for myself, I feel like it's in the past. It's something that is, when I sort of think of it, I think of like 19-year-old guys in like a Ford or like a Golf GT or something that's dating like a 14-year-old girl and smokes cigarettes. So for me, that's not really the best of look. So I would say you need to then grow out those cheeks. So actually you can then have the fullness and the thickness through the cheeks. The line you want to think with that is from the top of the ear to the corner of the lip. That then gives it a good place to aim at for being able to creating the fullness. I think the line you've got in the bottom, that seems to be okay actually, because when we look at the photo on the right, it sits straight back. I think it probably actually could be a little bit lower underneath. I think that's probably gone a little bit high there. But the moustache, if you have any facial hair, I think one of the biggest mistakes to make is to cut the moustache the whole way off. You then really into like Amish territory. Always then keep a little bit of the moustache, even if you don't really like having a moustache, just take it short. I wouldn't say shave it all the way off, because I think you're asking for a look that's not really too appealing, to be totally honest with you. You add those two things in, I think that would work really quite nicely as a whole look then for sure. Thanks a lot for watching today, guys. If you have any questions or if you'd like to be featured on the show at all, please drop me a message. All my social media channels, they're going to be here and then all linked down below as well. Have a brilliant day. Much love, Elliot.